Hello, ladies. Welcome back to Sports and Mimosa. I'm here again with Meredith. Hey.
Okay.
Someone is very happy today because first thing we're going to talk about, the biggest things going on in sports right now is the MLB. We have our World Series set, and it is
Yes. The Houston Astros and the Philadelphia Phillies.
her
Who,
team made it all the way.
yes.
So,
And it's funny because I've said the Phillies were my NL pick and Houston will always be my overall pick and my
right.
AL pick. So to have both of them go, it's kind of like, okay, this is gonna be a great
You might need
match. But
you might need to start betting or something because
I don't know.
there's
I,
been a
I,
few
I feel like
things
as
you
soon as I
said.
do that, it's gonna like go just
Go,
and I'm like,
that's it.
okay. But
Yes.
it's funny because my sister and I have this like really big joke. So in Super Bowl 50, when Peyton Manning was playing the Denver Broncos were playing the Carolina Panthers, every time my sister like went to the bathroom, like the Panthers would like mess up and our defense could like score or something. So like one point we're like,
Stay
just
in the bathroom.
stay in the bathroom, Megan, just stay in there. And like it was like that commercial, like it's only weird if it doesn't work kind of situation. So then this game, like this whole series against the Yankees, because we do not like the Yankees. Every time like my sister like for like some of the first few games like if my sister went to the bath like took a bath she like Pina or somebody would like hit a home run and like we take the lead and I'd be like you go like just stay in the
Take the
bathtub
bath.
like whatever. So then the last game we were playing and and I just didn't expect to sweep the Yankees. I didn't expect to have two sweeps back to back because we did the Seattle Mariners and now we have the
Mm-hmm.
Yankees. I wasn't expecting to. I mean, I think to echo Stephen A. Smith, I mean, the Yankees just are not who they've been in the past.
Yeah.
And so I think like, but I also am like, oh, we're playing the Bronx. Like they're gonna like,
Well,
there's
that
no way
last
they're
game,
good.
I felt
Yes.
like there
So
was
that
some.
last game was Sunday. And then all of a sudden, Yankees are coming out, and I'm like, oh, I can't.
Yeah,
Like,
they
and then
came out first with the
We had
hit.
Lance McCullers who on the mound, who was supposed to pitch game 3, but he had an elbow injury from celebrating to get to the ALCS. So he like waited to
Hold your
game 4.
celebrations until the
Yeah,
very
he
end.
like got hit underneath his Tommy John surgery scar with a champagne bottle, which you know problems. So he got game 4 and like and he's like one of our really good ones and he was letting hits and I was like, oh, I can't. And it was like the weekends and I was just tired and I was like, I just like can't handle it. Like I just don't like I hate New York fan bases normally, like especially the
Yeah.
Yankees. Like I don't really care about like the football ones, like I get it, but like just like you're not that great. So like the fact that y'all are like booing your own play, I think that's awful if you boo your own players. I don't like fan bases like that. Like I think that that's just like why you paid money to go see them. So like you're
Right.
the yeah.
I feel
So
it's like this, like your family. Like I can talk about each other to ourselves, but don't
mhm,
you come in. So it's like talk
maybe
about it in the house to
right.
yourself, but you don't go to.
Like
Well, I
I'm
guess
like
that
you
wasn't a good
paid money.
analogy, but you don't.
So well the Yankees so like game 4 originally was like $200 a ticket and it went down to 20 Sunday. So like that just shows you what they do. But then of course everybody was going. So like it was
Yeah.
rambunctious or whatever. And then they were booing their own players, like if they struck out, but then like they were doing well. And then we had a mishap with like a stupid catch in the outfield, just like the Yankees did the day before. And I was like, I can't do this. Like I can't, I'm tired. I'm going to take a bath. And because I was house sitting
The
for
baths are
my
the
neighbors.
thing.
So and then all of a sudden, like, and I didn't even take my phone with me. I was just having a peaceful again, like starting a new week fresh, whatever. I come back and like my mom is texting me, my sister is texting me, and they're like, "Oh my God, we're up!" And I was like, "What?" Like, and so like Jeremy Pena hit the a 3-run homer to tie the Yankees, and I was like, "Okay, well then maybe I just shouldn't like watch it." Like, and then I was like, I should just go back in the
That's
bathtub. Maybe I would just like sit in the bathtub. And then it was so funny because I really don't like Bader. He's their center fielder, and I just feel like he has little man syndrome in my opinion. I just think I don't know. I never even heard of him before the series, and I was like, I don't
but you
like this
don't
kid.
like them.
I don't like him. And then he like hit this like go ahead homer or something. And I was like, and I was tired and I was like, I can't watch him be the hero of the game. So I'm just going to lay down. And then like I fell asleep and then I woke up at like midnight and I had like all these messages from my cousin, from my sister, from my mom, and we like won the game. And I was like,
Yep. Yeah,
what?
I went to
Like,
sleep on it and came back and I was like, oh wow, they really won because the Yankees seem to have been fighting a little bit when I was watching the
which I
beginning of
thought
the
it was
game.
great because they
Yeah.
were. And I think like a part of me was just like that. I honestly think like I lost faith on them, but I was just like, I've had a really long day and I really don't want to watch like bad
Yeah.
baseball. So I like just fell asleep and then I woke up and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, Bregman saved
We
the day
won.
once again. So, and I think
But
I think like that's where it's like, I'm really excited for the series because we just, and it's funny because you're saying that everyone thinks that the
yeah, so a
Phillies are the
little
underdog.
yeah, so a little backstory before you go into that the Astros are labeled as a favorite because they came into the overall playoffs as number one. On paper, they are the better team. They just have a strong pitching crew, which Meredith, you've talked about this whole series in which they're just saying they don't think the Phillies can hold up like up until if it went game, 5, 6, 7. But the Phillies are the underdog because they came in as seed six in the sixth seed. And so, but they worked their way up, and we kind of talked about that. So
Yeah, I
just go
think
back there.
I mean again these were my both picks on both sides, so maybe that's why I don't see really one as an underdog. And I get that they were the sixth seed and I understand that they've
Mm-hmm.
worked this way, but they also like haven't been performing like a six seed team. You know what I mean?
But
Like
it's
they
that hunger
are
for it, that
hitting like
underdog.
Reese and Bryce and like like all of them are really putting up like really good hits and like at times that they need it. And like I think they have so many weapons. It's not just
Mm-hmm.
Bryce Harper carrying them, it's multiple people. I
Yeah.
think Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler are doing great jobs like at the mound. So I think that like it's going to be a good series. And like I understand like one has to be the underdog, but I really don't think Phillies are performing to be considered an
Which is
underdog.
great because it's going to make it a great series. I don't
Yeah,
think it'll
because
be a
and I
swept,
do
like you
think,
said that.
yeah, I do, yeah, and I really hope we win game one just so the Astros can have like the record. I think that no one's ever gone 8-0 in a series. And we've swept Seattle, so we swept New York, so we haven't lost in the
So you've
postseason
won every
yet.
game.
So
Yeah.
so there's I think it's a record if we're 8-0 in the postseason, which would be really cool to witness. And but like I think it's going to be like I was telling my sister, I was like, because you looked like the San Diego Padres and the Phillies games, like they were putting up hits after hit, like the scores were really high, whereas ours were, I think Sundays was the highest scoring one that we had against the
Mm-hmm.
Yankees. So like but I guess that may go back to like the pitchers that we've been facing. So, and I did
Yeah.
read that I do think it's going to be a long game kind of thing, but I don't think it's going to be like I don't think there's a clear winner right now. I'm going to be very honest. I think because like I think what's so cool about the Astros is that Altuve hasn't done great and he's been our guy. And then they really Yankees really stopped Yordan Alvarez, who was our big guy against Seattle. So like all our big names haven't been, I don't want to say consistent, but like they haven't been like, we don't know what they're going to do. Like we can't even bank on them. Like they could get hot in the middle of the series and that's great. But what's been so cool is that we've had people go from like, we've had Chas McCormick step up. We've had Jeremy Pena step up. We've had all these people. And I think that that's what's cool about the Astros is that there's
Yeah.
not just any one guy anymore. Like I think, when Altuve's hot, he's hot. But I think it's great that they've been able to carry each other to make plays when they need to make plays. So like I feel like they haven't been, except for that show, we shut out the Yankees Saturday night. I think it was 5-0. And but like other than that, I don't feel like it's been very show off baseball. I don't think it's been like, oh, we're just gonna keep smacking. Like I think with the exception of that game, it's been like a hard fought game. I mean, again, a week ago it
Yeah.
was 18 innings.
It's
Like,
yeah.
like it's just kind of I'm really excited to see what this series does because I think it's interesting that the writers are saying that Phillies are the underdogs because I'm like, if you've looked at their scores and their hitting, they kind of are outperforming
Yeah.
us, but it is down to the pitching. And I do think I saw something the other day that like Astros haven't even put Urquidy on. That's his last name.
Yeah, you guys
Urquidy.
have a lot.
Yeah, we haven't even used him yet. And
You
he's
have a
like
look
someone that we've
good
used
guy.
in all the World Series, but we haven't needed him yet because the fact that our lineup is just that powerful. So I do think in the long game we will have it, but I wouldn't put it past the Phillies to just come out strong and like make it a competition starting day one.
I mean, it never is what you predict from the front. I mean,
No.
from the top of it, and just because they are number one on paper, like
Right.
if the fire like really gets lit behind Philly, like to get there since they haven't been there since 2009.
Yeah. And it's a
that
very
could
full
change
circle.
stuff.
It's a very full circle moment because the Phillies clinched their postseason berth playing the Astros. So it's like now they have to come back. They got to come back pretty much.
Let's see. How did we do?
Excited. Right. So I'm
Yeah.
like, and then I think Aaron Nola pitched that game. So he's pitching game one. So I think it's going to be really, really fun.
So game one starts this Friday.
So
and we could
yes.
end it on November 5th if it goes all 7 games, or
Yes.
between November 1st and November 5th, we'll have a winner because either
Yes.
they'll sweep them or we'll have to go deeper in. But by next Friday,
Next time you talk to me, we'll see
we'll have a World Series. Oh, yeah, we'll have one or we'll be like,
well, oh my God,
one more
see,
day.
and that's where I just like don't do well in the postseason when it gets to like game fives and games. I'm like
episode because you might be like, I can't talk right now.
Or I could be like, oh my God, I just want to keep talking about it. I just want to keep talking about it.
We'll see how these first couple of games go. But yeah, that's exciting in our baseball. So we're almost done with baseball. We won't have, again, we've been saying this whole time that October is really one of the best times because we have all 3 sports, but we'll be losing baseball at least by next week. And then getting ready for the next year, spring ball will be here before we know it, all of that. So yeah, so that's exciting. Be sure to catch that or follow along. We'll be sharing highlights that are coming. If you want to follow along with the game on Friday, just follow Meredith and you'll get the excitement without you having to watch it.
Yes. Just follow me on Twitter.
Yes. Something else that we've talked about in our last couple of episodes, not the last one because there wasn't much news, but the PGA and the LIV stuff is coming back. And then I know we have some positive stuff out of PGA, and I know that's another one of your sports.
Yes.
So there's been a petition for discovery that's now been filed by the PGA against the LIV. So they're still in court and they're still battling at this.
Just feel like it's never ending.
Yeah.
And I just think that, and you mentioned it before we filmed, that like LIV has the money to have all these lawsuits and has the money to just keep making them be like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? And I think it's
Saudi Arabia like royal family, so there is money.
Yes, and it's like what 580 billion, like something just crazy amount of money to back this up. And I think I mean, we've said it before, and I feel like nothing new has changed it, that they're just whining. I just think everyone's whining about it, and to be like, well, I should be able to play in both, and it's like, no.
Yeah, because but what I was reading from the boardroom is somewhere where I get my news and plug out to them because that's that's co-owned or owned by Kevin Durant, which I love athletes owning into media companies. But anyway, their staff lawyer or attorney was talking about it and was just saying one of the complaints was that the PGA is trying to keep it all like their top players to themselves and not letting them go and make other money and make kind of whining like you're taking away some of my money. But like they said the tournament that they wanted to play in, some of these guys that have went on to the LIV, they were like, you were making more from the LIV than you would have made period from that PGA. So like they're complaining about that. But also this is where I was going with that too. They also said in the clause that these players signed by the PGA, like stated some of these things that you're not able to go, which I guess so it's like you knew what you were getting into, but I guess Phil
but now they're whining. Like,
yeah, they're white. It's like, but you
I had no
signed
idea
it.
about this. I don't
Yeah,
know.
you signed.
It's
That's
like,
where I was going with that. I don't know why I had that
no,
brain
you're okay.
fart. But the
Oh.
fact that you were, yes, making more money where you were at. So if you lost out on that PGA tour because you went against their rules, you were making more money. So how was that hurting you anyway? Like you just wanted
Exactly.
more, but you didn't want to follow by their rules. Like they didn't make you sign because you're not
Exactly.
employees by the PGA. You're contracted as a player.
That's
So that was
exactly,
interesting.
yes, because I think like that's what's aggravated me the whole time. It's not like they're all just like, we had no idea this would be an issue. And it's like you
So you didn't
signed
look at your contract.
something.
You just signed your
Like
life away.
I can't go play for my competitor. Like that's
Oh,
not
and that's what they were like because he referenced a baseball. He was like, that's like the Yankees going to play for the Red Sox or something. Was it the
yeah.
Yankees or the Chicago or
It's probably that.
yeah, you're
that
going to
fan
play
base.
for your competitor this within the same season. Like, okay, now I'm gonna go play for them so I could get like two checks.
Exactly.
Like,
But
no.
you want to come back to the others. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, you have to make the jump. And I just
Yes.
well,
So that was
we're
interesting.
obviously seeing PGA here.
Right. But what are some exciting news with our PGA that we love?
Yes, our little Rory McIlroy won the CJ Cup this weekend. So he is now back on top in the golf world. He's back to number 1, and he's been someone who's been very proud to wear the PGA letters, if you want to say that. So he it's really cool to see that he's just had like a really, and like again, like he's come really close this year to a lot of them. So the fact that he won this cup was really great. So
Yeah.
I'm happy for him because
Shout out to him.
yes. So he's had a crazy year, but I think it's really so like his quote said, if someone had told me at the Valero Texas Open when I missed the cut that I would be number 1 by October, I would have asked them what they were smoking. So it was like the caption is, it wasn't easy to return to the top, but he did it. So I think it's been fun to see. And he's like just a really good person to cheer for. So I like
yeah. Well, that's positive news. They're still going strong
yes.
despite this other mess, but hopefully that gets
hopefully
handled soon. So
yeah.
And let them stay wherever they're at because we're all PGA. So let's jump into the NFL. There was some I didn't watch big NFL this weekend. The Saints played on Thursday, lost last minute, of course. Like we were leading in the beginning, and Thursday seems so far away by the time you
I
get
was
to
okay. I really thought we had a bye
Sunday.
week. I thought we had a bye week because I
did
completely
too.
forgot they played on Thursday
'Cause I'm
until
like
you said that.
Yeah, I'm like on Sunday,
like,
okay,
oh.
who's the first game at noon? Like, are we coming up? I'm like, where's the Saints? Like, we have a bye. And I was like, oh no, wait, we just played on Thursday, and that was like depressing, mess up our whole week.
Yeah.
So maybe that we erased it as a
Maybe just
as a
trauma.
Saints area, yeah.
Just yeah.
But some good news. Tua for the Dolphins finally returned for his first game back, and he beat the Steelers 16.
Yeah, that was a close game. Yeah.
Yeah, but he came out off winning, and he was shouting out, going to the reporter, to talk after, talking about fins up. So he was super excited. Looked like a little kid, just won his Pop Warner game. But good to see him back out there. And so not so good though for our older folks. Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady are vets that are probably going to be all Hall of Famers. Well, we know Tom Brady. I'm pretty sure Aaron Rodgers, but
sure, both of them, yeah.
They are not having the season of their lives right now.
It's so bad.
Not at all. At least Aaron, though, and what they were saying and what you can see in press conferences, Aaron is still seems like almost hopeful. Like, okay, we can get it. Like they are missing a key piece with Devontae Adams, and I guess they haven't found their groove or whatever. And we kind of talked about it last week, one person saying one thing and another, the coach is saying another, but like with Tom Brady, and you guys know our feelings around Tom Brady, but he just is not the same and doesn't look like he's the captain type, you should be leading the team. It's this is bad football.
We talked about that last time. It was just the fact that he hasn't been. So I think, he went to this press conference and was like, retirement is not in my future.
last
Like,
week.
I don't see it.
In,
It's like, yeah. And we're like, cool. I just think you're not handling your divorce really well, but okay. And then they didn't even have a touchdown, I don't think. And he played Carolina. And we've talked about Carolina on this show.
Like they just lost their coach. They lost a big McCaffrey.
Yes.
And like they beat you.
And like I just think that it's just, and it's like maybe you should retire if you're like,
but
and like you said, he's not even giving like leadership vibes. Like I don't know, like who I really want to talk to. I want to talk to Gronk. I want to know what Rob Gronkowski is doing, because I feel like once he lost him, everything just
like his best friend left, and now he doesn't know how to do school without him.
Yes, exactly. Like I feel like Gronk's like, peace out, I'm leaving, I'm retiring, gonna go hang out with my
Gronk's over here making media money.
Like, exactly. Like I think he's like, okay, cool. And then like I just feel like I don't know what Gronk released to the Tampa Bay, but it's all come undone. And like I think like you said, there's still some kind of hope, because I do feel like with the Packers, Aaron does just have a different like approach to it, I think, or like attitude about it. Whereas I think I've said this, I even wrote this, I think Tom Brady is a media hog, and I think he likes to make it about him. And I think that like the fact that he's like, no retirement in my future, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, well, like get your team into play, because I don't care about you. I care about you on your team. Like, I don't care at all. But I feel like people are like, hey, like you still have a lot of season left, and
they're number one in their division.
Terrible, which just shows you how bad that division is.
Right. But there's still room for you to like turn it around. But I feel like they do need a kumbaya moment, because there's no unity. And like Mike Evans was like wide open, missed the ball. There was no sun in his eyes. And like that would have been an easy walk and touch. And it was just like, because mentally, are you guys all not there? Like, there really is no reason he should have missed that. But it's just like,
I think it's like another Russell Wilson, and like just the old guys just aren't. And Russell Wilson was hurt, so he wasn't able to play this weekend. But it still just shows you that the Broncos are needing repair. But he was like, I'm gonna play, we're gonna do it. And it's like, you aren't doing well healthy. So like
just sit down, sir. Like this probably came at a good time for you, because now you could be like, I've been injured, like that. Like that's how I would have spent it. Like,
but no, he's not like, he's like, oh yeah, Broncos, let's ride. And we're like, no, we don't want to ride with you.
I've not been healthy. That's why we've been messing up. I would have so blamed it. But yeah, so hopefully these two quarterbacks can get it. Hopefully the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm just a little concerned, because it is the first year for this Black head coach. Not to say it's him, but they always blame stuff on a head coach and everything. And so
I know for Tampa Bay,
I hate that. Yeah, for Tampa Bay.
Yeah, because I feel like he I feel like he got really short of the stick for it, because I do, and I'm not just saying this because I don't like Tom Brady
last year.
Like you aren't getting prime Tom Brady. I don't care what anyone says, this is not prime Tom Brady, and that's what this guy's stuck with. And it's like,
and then he's not even like, okay, if physically he wasn't the prime time, because he's 45. So yes, nature could have played its toll, but we know Tom is healthy. But it's not even like the Tom that has been a leader, or what has been portrayed to us as a leader that gets your team going. Like he's been yelling at him. Like what so adult is going to respect that? Like you're yelling at me on national TV.
And I make millions of dollars. Don't
Because
it's like because they used to talk about how that's why like Nick Saban didn't do well in the NFL, because
he
had no power over them. He had how do you tell a guy who's making
you can do that in college because you're
so I think that's why he came back to college, because he didn't have any power in the NFL, and he's used to having power. So I think that exactly I'm not going to respect this guy. I don't care how many Super Bowl rings you have. Like I'm not no. Like you can have your great receivers, but you're pissing off your O-line, and that's who you need to get things happening. So I just think that hopefully it doesn't come back on the coach, because I don't think that it is. Sometimes I do think it's the coach, and this is not a time where I think it is. So
and it just sucks, because regardless, just being that new coach and stuff like this happens, like you kind of get blamed, or
Yeah.
it hopefully he doesn't lose his job, but still just to have that your first year and you don't have, but you have the GOAT,
Yeah.
you know, what everyone says is the GOAT. But to stick with Tom Brady before we like skip down, it's part of our sports tidbits, but it's a part of his whole thing. You know, we've talked about his divorce, and is this playing on, even though he acts like it's not part? Well, some news came out is that Giselle just hired like one of the best lawyers, I guess, in Florida. Like she was a lawyer for Tiger Woods during his divorce. And so, and of
He's
course,
coming to play.
there's big money on the line between these two. And if there was no prenup, which I don't know if there
I
was,
don't know if there was, but she had her own money. Like she was the
has her own
multi-billion
money.
dollar.
But I mean, if she gets
model.
half of, like, he's pretty, you know.
I'm very curious, and not to sound catty, but I'm very curious what the children situation is going to
And
be.
I was just about to say, I hate this for the children
Yeah.
because they've had their parents for this long. I mean, lots of families go through this, but, and that's where it's like, we want to talk about it, but then it's like, I feel for the family as a whole,
Yeah.
because now these kids' lives are being laid out. So like, you can go to school and people are making fun of your divorce. Like, you know, like if our parents got divorced, like no one's gonna
Nobody
know.
knows. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. But what's funny, not funny, and I kind of mentioned this, Antonio Brown, who used to be which is he's on in his own little world, but he's been throwing out a lot of memes with him and Giselle,
and I think it's
trying
really
to be
funny.
funny. Yeah,
I think
it's funny, but and he always seems to do it like right when Tom is having like the work after a loss or like something bad.
He knows what he's doing. He knoes. I think it's funny. I'm like,
follow AB on Instagram and check those out. But so going back into the NFL a little bit, the Commanders lost. That's Washington Commanders lost to Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. But it was funny that at the game, the Commanders fans were chanting "Sell the team," talking to their own owner, because you know we talked about
that drama.
Yeah, that whole drama. So that the fan base wants him. So I'm waiting to see when he's gonna say, "Okay, I'm gonna sell." Don Sterling ended up having to do that. The Suns coach is doing that. You know, like it when your fans are shouting that out, like you don't have any
That's how I feel.
support.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with that. But one of our favorite guys, Joey Burrow, had another amazing game. That was positive for the Baton Rouge and the New Orleans area, because Joey's still our savior, obviously.
We're still cheering for him. Yes. No, he had a great game against the Falcons. I was at we were celebrating my grandmother's 93rd birthday this weekend. So it was on the TV and we were like, ooh, it's Joe. So he really just is the one who's making, like, we got to see, like, when he did the touchdown, like, he's not afraid to be the one who gets hit and who has to do his work. I think he's a really great leader, because I do think he'll look for people open. If not, he's not afraid to be like, I have to do this myself. But he has a crazy stat. Here's the list of the quarterbacks with multiple games in their career with 500 total yards and 4 total touchdowns. And the list is literally just Joe Burrow.
He has created a list, Joe.
Yes. And the fact that it's like, this is still his early. I mean, I know it doesn't feel early to us because I feel like we've been watching them for a long time, but this is still
second year,
the beginning of his career, and this is what he's doing. So I do think that he's doing great. And I also think that the Giants have been doing really well. They were kind of they have a really great record, and it's like the best record they've had since like 2012, I think. I don't know. It's like been a very long time since they've had a winning record.
I know my Michael Strahan got very excited on TV.
I love him.
Yes.
I love him.
That's who he used to play for. And he was excited.
He had big hands in beating Tom Brady in Super Bowl 42. So I will always respect Michael Strahan.
Yeah. If you guys love podcasts, he did a great one with The Pivot, Michael Strahan. I just love that guy. So I would listen to that episode with him. And he kind of talks about those days.
Yes.
Career.
I don't know if you ever watched, but they always used to do, like, it used to be called America's Game, and it would be like this show or like this like recap of like the Super Bowl winners like season. And they did him for Super Bowl 42. They did him, Tom Coughlin, who's the coach, and Eli Manning. And it's just really funny to see Michael Strahan because you could tell like it was going to be his last year. And and it was supposed to be Tom Coughlin's last year. And
Mhm.
so, and I think they kind of like butted heads, but I think like, so Michael Strahan's like, I'm not going to like preseason practice. I'm not going. Like, I'm not going. And then all of a sudden, Tom Coughlin, because it's his last year and he doesn't have anything to lose, he's like, let's all go like bowling. Let's all go like do that. They do all this stuff. And Michael's like, the 1 year I don't go, he decides to be fun. Like the way it was just like really funny. And it just kind of helps. I mean, you already liked the Super Bowl 42 because they just stepped up and whatever, but it was funny to see like the back behind the scenes, like
Yeah.
Michael, like the one time I
And that
don't
was
go.
his last season, right?
Yeah. So he
And
got to go
so
out as
see
Super
how
Bowl
he went
champion.
out on a Tom Brady.
Yes.
He went out on a high. Not everyone talking about sit
Yes.
down.
No.
So that was one thing too I added. So Ryan Clark on Get Up was talking about that with Tom Brady. Like, you could sit down, like you don't have to eat avocado ice cream anymore or like you can relax. We don't need you to play anymore. Like it's like
Right.
Tom is holding on for like
Well, I think
us or
that
something.
I don't know, like BuzzFeed had a really good article. I can't remember the writer, but he did it about how it was really just like it's almost like it's very interesting, like what is happening with Tom, like not just because like of like all the drama with the divorce, but like he preaches this like discipline and waking up at 5:30 and doing this and going to bed at 9 p.m. every night and then watching film in your rest time, like all this like drill. But it's also like, but look what it's losing you. Like in the beginning, we could be like, look, he was this underdog, 198 teams picked him, like decided to skip him and like all this stuff. So like it used to be like you would tell the young athletes of America, like, hey, like look at Tom Brady, like look, like blah blah blah. And now it's almost like he could be like a caution tale of like, look at what happens when you make this your entire identity and you lose all these other things that are important to you. And you're also like holding on for something that's been too long. So it's been it was a really good article to be like how it started and how like unfortunately how it's possibly ending and how he went like but it's also like his doing. I just feel like
I mean, you have to know when. I mean, I will take away from him and Kobe. I think they're like that with that determination and that scheduling and like, no, we're waking up at this time, we're getting our workout in.
And I think that's great, but also like look what it's lost him. Like I think it's lost him his family.
Like Kobe knew when to I'm gonna focus on my family. And I think if it came like Vanessa had said that at the end, like, oh, you're coming back and didn't agree, I think he would have picked his family. But yeah, well, it loses you, but guess you live and you learn. And then another thing that was funny was the Colts. So if you're a Colts fan or if you follow or if your boo does or whatever, they the media put out headlines like the Colts sit Matt Ryan or something like that for the rest
like
of the
season. He's benched.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what happened?
Yes. And then if you like click it, like it's like an article on Google and it was like, why is Matt Ryan benched? And you like click and it's like he suffered a shoulder injury. And I was like, that's completely different from being benched.
Right. So it made it seem like a bigger story because Matt Ryan is well-known quarterback, pretty good. He was with the Falcons, I think, right? Yeah. But for him to just be benched for the whole season like that, it's like, well, damn, what did he do, for him to be benched? So he's not benched because of anything other than his injury. So he's hopefully speedy recovery for him and he's back into the off season because obviously they said the full season he's out, but that he can recover and come back. So yeah, any thoughts on NFL coming up or anything you're looking for?
I'm gonna be honest, my focus
is the baseball
right now.
Yeah, why did I even ask you that?
I'm like, I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, hold on, let me look. Again, it's been all MLB. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah.
I think that
well for me I got
there's something who's playing Josh Allen this week. I feel like he's come up in my it's a crazy. I think it might be. Is it? Hold on. Is it Tom?
Let's
No,
see.
Tom's
The
playing
Packers,
Raven.
Aaron.
Aaron, that's what it is. Because Aaron's the underdog right now. And I think
Yeah.
it's like by
And I
like
think
double
that's the first
digits.
time he's,
It's by double digits for the
and
first
that's the
time.
first
Yeah.
time I think Aaron Rodgers has been an underdog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
So
might
that
be a
will be
game
a
to
good
watch.
game. Yes.
Other
Well,
than that, yeah.
for me, my Saints and Raiders are playing. So either way, I will be happy because one team will win for sure.
One will win. At least one.
The Raiders have
That's
been
how I
winning though.
feel. That's how I feel in game 1 for the World Series.
Yes,
where I'm
like I'll be
okay,
happy on that day.
all right, like Nola gets a win, great. Astros have the rest of the series to win, but if the Astros win, I'm like, we're starting the series strong, hit the record.
Right.
So like, that's just all I want.
So we should be happy this weekend. Me happy on this
Yes.
side. NBA not so much because the Lakers are just because and there's talk around that. So we didn't mention much about the NBA, but within the NBA, I know something with Russell Westbrook and a lot of people. Stephen A made some comments about like Russell and the Lakers. Like, do they still want to be together? Kind of deal.
But then like LeBron like walked out of a press conference, right? Or he was like, y'all want to talk about Russell and I'm not going to give y'all that like kind of situation. So it just seemed a little messy.
Yeah. They need some kumbaya too. They need Phil Jackson back because that was a kumbaya person. But
I know I was a little upset because I watched the Mavericks and they were playing the Suns. And normally there's a joke that Luka is Devin Booker's daddy. And the Suns came back like in the last quarter and beat them. And I was like, dang it. But
and Luka.
I know, but they'll meet again.
Yeah.
I think they play I think they're in New Orleans tonight. I couldn't go, but they play the Pelicans tonight. So
yeah, the Pelicans had a good opener.
Yes. Against Brooklyn, right?
Yeah, I didn't go. I'm going next week. I'm excited. It might be game 6 or game 5. It's the 4th. So that's one of the ends if the World Series carries it, but they're playing the Warriors, so I'm excited about that.
And I almost went to that one too. No, I think they've been, I mean, again, y'all know my thoughts on Ben Simmons or whatever, so I was really glad that they did get a win and that the Pelicans got the win over them.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if you've been watching, if anybody likes just trolls, Ja Morant with is it the Grizzlies or them? Ja has been like just troll. He got Ben Simmons to foul out. Like he was like being really like he's just doing his thing, and then he literally did the gritty in front of Kevin Durant as they were leaving the court. So it's just really fun. So if anyone wants to watch,
I want to go to a Memphis game in Memphis. I feel like last season, I think it was like just the fan. I love atmospheres too. Like when they were beating, they were beating somebody, and they were playing oh God, what's that movie with Terrence Howard? Whoop that trick.
Oh my God.
Hustle and Flow. Because they were from Memphis.
Yes.
So in the back was like, whoop that trick. They were like winning. I was like, oh my God, I need to go to
that'd be fun. That's a quick road trip. We could do that.
But yeah, what's gonna be exciting about Ja, like I do love Ja, but I think like him and so on Christmas they play the Warriors. And at the Warriors, and I think like there's been like a battle, like trash talking or something. I can't remember exactly with him and with Ja and Draymond. But he was like, no, they're cool, and like they like would invite him over for Christmas dinner and stuff. But like when it's on the court, it's like we're at it, Yeah. So that's gonna be interesting. Christmas Day, the Memphis Grizzlies played the Warriors, and so I do like Ja.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good game. So yeah, and you were talking about, I just want to point out, because you were talking about when you're talking about fans like booing their own guys and stuff, and like there was a clip from the Lakers game and there was a fan
they're all like booing Russ, or they were like, well then like I think Rush went to go shoot and everybody was like, no,
like it was like, well, so when he was walking out of the tunnel, a fan was like, Rush, you ain't shit, and just like talking shit, because you're in the
and then he came back. And he came back. What were
right, and that's it. Fan was like, we need you. He is not
someone I would. He has been the one, like he has been very vocal about how fans treat athletes.
Exactly, but I just would
never. I agree with him too. Like, so that's why I'm like, that is the last person I would ever want to provoke first of all, I'm just not that person. But second,
Right.
like I would not know, like because
But
we
at
have
the
seen
same,
over and over that he'd be like, he's gotten people kicked out of stadiums before. Like he
yeah.
doesn't play with his self-respect. So
But people have like threatened, like his family's safety has been threatened and stuff. I think like there was some stuff about that. So like he doesn't play with that, which I don't think he should. But to the end too, like even if I'm mad at how you played and you're on my team, like I don't like LeBron on the court, but I would never because LeBron is a Laker. You know what I mean? Like
right.
you don't do that. And so we just went back to that, but that made me think of that. But yeah. So I think that is one other thing that happened today with Brittney Griner, WNBA player, who was she just turned 32, but she's in Russia in prison. She was sentenced to 9 years in August, but she was like wrongfully detained. That's the word we're using. I don't think Russia thinks she's wrongfully, but she was detained in February when she was trying to come back home after playing in the Russian women's basketball league, but she had a little amount of cannabis oil that's illegal in Russia. So they arrested her, but she was sentenced in August to 9 years. She had an appeal. So she went to the Russian appeals court, but it was denied this morning. And so that's like the end of the legal route for her. And so now it's like all up to the White House, which they have tried to do a trade with a prisoner we have for Brittney and one other American journalist, I think it is.
Yeah.
That's over there. So now we'll just see if the White House can do anything. But I love that NBA and WNBA is keeping her name atop of mind. Stephen Curry during their opening night last week or something, I think it was, and when they got their ring, not last week, whenever these weeks run together, when first opening
It was
game.
last week. It was last week.
Okay. And when he got his ring, he did like do a shout out to Brittney, like she's still over there, let's not stop talking about it. So hopefully the US can do something, but they did grant her, I guess, a positive thing. The Russian government courts did grant her time served. So now she only has 8 years.
8 years. Yeah, they're making, because they took like however many hours or something she spent in this could count towards it. So yeah, I saw that too. But still, it's 8 years, and I really hope they get her back from over there because that's
keeping her family and her wife in our prayers. Like she's trying to fight it over here. I'm sure that I couldn't do jail here, so I can imagine in Russia. And to celebrate your 32nd.
I know. I just turned 32. I didn't realize she was my age. Yeah, and I'm like, I could not imagine. And then like I get that it's Russia, but then I'm also like, it's still a vape. Like it's.
Like it wasn't.
You know what I mean? Like
like and so she said that I know there's been stories about like why would she even put herself in that situation? I thought that too, like why wouldn't someone stop her? But she said she was packing in a hurry when she was
I just think about like one time like I had like I still work at Banana Republic, but I used to like be a manager, so I had like this name tag and it was like basically like metal. And like I would just throw it in my bag, throw it in my purse. And I remember I went to, I think it was the San Francisco airport. And they were like, you have like a weapon. And I'm like, what? And they're like, we see something that like looks like it's a weapon. And they were like going through my purse. And I was like, I don't even carry around knives. Like, I don't know what. And they were like, I think it's this. And I was like, that's my name tag. And they're like
your 007, and it's like a weapon inside of your name tag.
I'm like, it's a magnet, and they're like, oh, and I'm like, yeah. So like, you just think about like things that you have. Like I forgot I even had that in my purse. So I'm like, she could have had it from like another trip and like not even like purposely . It for this trip, like So I just think about like that, and I'm like, I can't know. Like it's sad. So hopefully that gets resolved soon. So
I think this was a great combo. I think we got, our favorite topics to talk about. We get so passionate about them when it comes to NFL, Tom. But
I hate it. I just want him to be gone, so I don't talk about it anymore.
but also the MLB and that excitement. So try and watch it. Also, I do want to shout out. So today I have on Southern University. It's a HBCU. If you watch college football, College Game Day is going to be live on ESPN. Jackson State versus Southern. So two HBCUs.
What a good game.
So they're both undefeated in the SWAC.
That's Dion, right?
Yeah.
That's Dion.
So they're doing it for Deion Sanders because obviously everyone knows him, but still he's bringing recognition in the spotlight to an HBCU. So it's pretty exciting. I can't wait for that College Game Day.
Yeah.
I hope it's a good game. Who knows who wins, but they're both undefeated. So we'll see. It'll be in Jackson, Mississippi. But wanted to shout that out. If you are HBCU fan or if you love football, be sure to watch College Game Day this week, this Saturday for that. Just historical to have an HBCU on that because they normally just have like the top schools. It's usually the top game of the week that they go to because that's where the draw is. So to be coming.
Yeah, that's gonna be great.
So yeah. So be sure to watch football. Follow us as always. Thank you, Meredith, for joining and talking sports. And we'll see you guys next time. Hopefully for a win for Meredith.
Okay.
All right. Have a good one, y'all.